Bessent says heavier sanctions on the way for Russia. Russia, and particularly oil companies, can look forward to tougher sanctions under Trump administration. If any officials in the Russian Federation are watching this confirmation hearing, they should know that if I'm confirmed in President Trump requests as part of his strategy to end the Ukraine war, that I will be 100% on board for making sanctions up, especially on the Russian oil majors, to the levels that would bring the Russian Federation to the table. So long story short, they're gonna trying to strong arm Russia financially to get this Ukraine-Russian war over. Not looking to send troops. I think it's. I mean, the next time we in a war, Middle East type of war, there's gonna be a significant issue going on. You're not talking about a problem going on. It's gonna be a significant issue. But they're trying to say, look, Russia, let's get this war over with. Okay, I mean, a whole other conversation about the Russian-Ukraine situation, but they're trying to get the war over, right? And they're saying, hey, let's do these sanctions on them, right? And here's the thing, too. Let's just hypothetical here, just general math, but let's just say right now we're sending, for simple math, we're sending $100 million over to Ukraine for this war on a yearly basis. Let's say that stops because the war ends, but then prices due to oil increase by $50 million on us a year, right? Well, we up 50 million. It's not exactly how it works, but as far as when they're saying like, hey, gas prices went up due to this oil sanction that we put on Russia, but then also too, there's a plan to increase in how much oil how much we're producing domestically. So that's a whole other thing. But it's about the whole cost trade-off, right? Like we decrease spending $100 million, but we're spending another 50 million. So we're spending 50 million less dollars inshore. So they're trying to get more money back into America, and that might come at the cost of sanctions, which we might see, a direct impact as far as when it comes to gas prices. But they're not just saying, hey, we're going to put these sanctions on Russia and gas prices are going to go up. We have a plan, in theory, to, have more production over here stateside, which would help offset those costs or not even have those costs. We get the war ended, right? And we don't have to worry about the actual cost due to the sanctions because, we're producing that oil here ourselves. That's just the simple logic of it. Bessent says U.S. fiscal spending is out of control. Anybody? Oh man, I wish I had enough time. Anybody could have told you that. The U.S. has a pressing spending problem that's spiraling out of control. Bessent said at his confirmation hearing, we do not have a revenue problem in the United States. That's correct. Our revenue is in the trillions of dollars. We have a spending problem. Yes. Bessent said anyone who's operating at a deficit has a spending problem. For a fact. This is one of the things that got me out from behind my desk and my quiet life in this campaign was the thought that the spending's out of control. Rising financing costs alone. So that's how much it costs to take out debt. So Fed interest rates, in short, along with continued spending growth and declining tax receipts, have combined to send deficits spiraling and have pushed the national debt past 36 trillion. Woo. We hit 100 trillion in my lifetime. Let's see. The 3-month fiscal year 2025 deficit rose $710 billion, some $200 billion more than the comparable period in the prior year, or 39.4%. My goodness. We have never seen this before when it is not a recession or not a war. One would say we are in a recession and a war, but that's another conversation. This is from Bessent. Treasury, along with full government and Congress, has used its borrowing capacity to save the union, to save the world, and to save the American people, and that we currently have now. We would be hard pressed to do the same. Yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting to see the economics under Trump. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? We got inflation, and then we got spending and trying to get under control. We got the debt ceiling limit. Like, there's a lot of these things, right? Social Security is not gonna be touched. When it came to Social Security, there are no plans to lower the payouts from President Trump, under at least his administration. Trump said this: Social Security and Medicare will not be touched, according to Bessent. Potential cuts to Social Security next decade based on current funding. I mean, next decade, Trump's not going to be president for 4 years. Funding projection is one of the issues. Also, y'all said we putting money into something we're not going to have. So I'm like, why am I putting money into it in the first place? Let me have that money back. Bessent did say that the government needs to get a short-term house in order before looking at other ideas, such as supplemental fund to help support the entitlement spending. Let's see how many more of these we have to go. Okay, we're almost done here. All right, now we're getting to Bessent predicts sudden stop for economy if tax cuts not extended. Ooh. Extending the so-called Trump tax cuts will be a top economic priority. So they're trying to get these Tax Cuts and Jobs Act extended. This is pass fail. If we don't fix these tax cuts, if we do not extend it, we're going to be facing an economic situation. We will see a gigantic middle class tax increase. Ooh, so much with this. Long story short, the tax bracket, the marginal rates it's using at 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, 37% that I'm always talking about, those are set at that percentage, not the bracket as far as how much is taxed in those bracket ranges or in those ranges, but at those percentages were, some of them were lowered by Trump with these tax cuts and job acts. So that's when they're saying you want to see taxes increase. I believe there's a 15% in there, or 25%. It's hard for me to remember those. But in short, that's what they're talking about there. So you can look up what the marginal tax rates were before the Tax Cuts and Job Acts, or what they'll go back to if this doesn't get extended. Trump's administration policies will unleash the American. So the American economy is going to do better under Trump. This is from his opening statement. The nominee's opening statement was light on policy specifics, but did generally lock it. President Trump has said we will unleash the American economy by implement pro-growth regulatory policies, reducing taxes, and unleashing American energy production. See, I think one of the things is you might not like Trump, but we should want the financial situation of the United States of America to improve, right? And if he believes what he's going to do is going to do that, cool. When economists are saying, who would disagree with this, saying that's not going to work, again, economics is variable. There's no one thing fits all, right? Investors cheer selection of Bessent. As Bessent prepares to testify, he got a vote of confidence. Stock market rose. Okay, cool. Bond market rallied. And obviously, yes, he's a billionaire and he has experience in hedge fund. Obviously, we're not quote unquote the stock market, but again, coming from a business perspective, which a lot of people want to see more in politics. You got Elon Musk, you got Vivek Ramaswamy, where we want to see, there are people out here who want to see more business-minded people, i.e. Trump, right, running the politics in this country. And then Bessent is involved in planning gradual tariffs for Trump. Yeah, we know about tariffs. We talked about those. He's one of the advisors working on the tariffs gradually. Scheduled gradual tariffs increasing 2 to 5% on a monthly basis for our trading partners. The proposal is not finalized yet, so obviously, still got to get things situated with it. And Kevin Hassett is set to be the director of the National Economic Council, and Stephen Moran, nominated to lead the Council of Economic Advisors, were also involved in discussions with Bloomberg. So in short, these tariffs look like they're coming. Okay, and Bessent is pledged to defend the U.S. supply chains and the dollar. I didn't mention tariffs directly, but he wants a muscular policy. I've never heard that used before. When it comes to defending U.S. interests overseas, we must secure supply chains that are vulnerable to strategic competitors. Again, they're going to probably use national security as well. Yes, we got to be able to have resources. It is that simple. All right. Trump has proposed across the board levies against U.S. global trading partners, though it's possible he could tailor tariffs against certain goods and services. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, as we wrap up here again. Treasury pick Scott Bessent, heavier sanctions on Russia coming. We know a lot of things here, Social Security, the economics, but there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to see coming into play here just on the economic side with President Trump getting into office and his cabinet. If Scott Bessent, is appointed as Secretary of Treasury, he in short is saying he's going to do what he can to help Trump get done what Trump wants to get done. All right, that's it, y'all. Lock and load in the episode. Again, make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating and reviews on the podcast platforms as well. My information, as well as my coach Jordan information, can be found in the description on YouTube. I'm talking fast here, intentionally talking fast. I'm trying to get out of here. It's going to be very interesting to see, like I said, I keep saying how things play out. There are people who don't want this, people who do want this. At the end of the day, Trump is, he's going to get elected here in a couple of days. And, we didn't even talk about immigration, right? It's going to be interesting, though. I think they passed it where they're saying in the House where, illegal immigrants who committed law and order SVU crimes, they got to get deported, getting up out of here. So, look, it's coming, by the way. I'm going to come, right? Shout out to President Trump. Don't come. Do not come. Shout out to Vice President Harris. President Trump is about to be here, right? Was it Trump 2025, technically getting elected? And it's going to be an interesting 4 years. Democrats, y'all better figure it out because y'all don't got nobody ready for J.D. Vance as of right now. It's going to be an interesting time here. But again, don't worry about what the government is doing to impact your life. You need to get out here and put in that work to correct your life. All right, that's it, y'all. Remember to say more and say less. Keep making better your best. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.